You may be in a position where you have to save your family. Maybe your wife is going through a really hard time and things aren't 50-50 and she's depressed, toxic, miserable, not taking care of herself. So now the only thing that can save your family and provide some structure is you getting on your It's you getting some structure in your life. It's you getting disciplined. It's you becoming the most in shape you've ever been, the most disciplined you've ever been, the most wise you've ever been, the most emotionally in control you've ever been. If you do not do that, the whole family has zero reliability, zero structure, no rock to lean on. Hey everyone, welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodak. I had a really hard time getting out of bed this morning, and that's what I'm talking about today, is that guy inside that tries to keep you in bed, and how different he is than the motivated you, and how you need to battle that every single day. So the alarm went off at 4:45, and I laid in bed, and I was really tempted to just stay in bed, and I was going to do it. I almost convinced myself to just lay there and skip my workout. And then my wife Sarah got up, and she does a 5:15 a.m. CrossFit class every day. She got up and went to the gym, and her getting up out of bed is what motivated me and pushed me out of bed. And then as soon as I got up and I moved around, and I felt good, and I was glad I got up. But that person you are laying in bed is very, very different than the person that's at the gym. And the battles you have to fight every single day will vary in strength and intensity. Like today, it was extremely hard for me to get out of bed for whatever reason. I don't know. There's that voice of complacency. That old, fat, sloppy, lazy Chris was in there trying to keep me asleep. And thank God I got my butt out of bed, because as soon as I started getting ready, as soon as I put my clothes on and I had my shoes on and I was walking out to my car, I thought to myself, thank God I got up. Thank God it's 5 a.m. and I'm on the way to the gym. And then you get to the gym and you feel amazing. You're working out, you're burning calories, you're surrounded by other people who are doing the same thing, and you just feel really good. If you're working out by yourself in the garage, I used to do that too. When I was on my first job, they had a freezing cold garage, and there was just crap everywhere. The lady who owned it was like a hoarder, and I just cleared out this little 8-foot space for me to do my P90X workouts. And I would do that before I would go teach a full day at school. But I still felt amazing on the days that I got up and was actually doing it. That's the thing. You just need to get up and get moving. Once you're in the process, once you're actually moving, it is an unbelievable feeling to know that you're working on yourself, knowing that I've got so much time today to get stuff done. Like it's 5 a.m. and I'm on my way to the gym. It feels so good. And then you get back home and it's not even 7 o'clock and you just completed an entire hour workout. You just burned 500-600 calories, and it's the start to an amazing day. So on this particular morning, it was really hard for me, and it was the struggle. I think the temperature of my room was just so perfect, and I was so comfortable in that moment. When my alarm went off, whatever phase of sleep I was in was so great. It felt so good that I wanted to just continually sleep. And I think I got, 6.5 hours of sleep tonight, 6.5, 7 hours of sleep, which for me is like the money zone. 6.5, 7 hours of sleep feels really good. And then when I get more than 7.5, I feel a little groggy. So I felt good. Woke up and then felt good. If I would have slept until 7, that would have been like 9 hours of sleep, which I never get. But it was my wife today who motivated me to get out of bed. And if she wouldn't have got out of bed, I don't know that I would have. And that's just the way it is this morning. Not every single day is a win, but I got out of bed, so I did it. And also, you got to take the motivation where you can get it. Get inspired and then act. Read someone's post that inspires you and then actually take action on it. Don't just read the post. Like if Sarah inspired me when she got out of bed, but then I went back to sleep, it wouldn't have mattered. But because she got up, I got up. And there's some days where the opposite happens, where she feels like sleeping, but I get up, so she gets up. Thank God I've got that relationship with my wife, because a lot of guys and a lot of ladies are in positions where their spouse, is complaining when they get up, or doesn't want them to get up, or lives a completely different lifestyle. When you are on the same page with somebody and you're both pushing each other, it's so much easier, and then you propel each other and you move forward instead of pulling each other apart. So Sarah got up, she went to CrossFit. I got up, I went to my gym, and like I said, as soon as I was up moving around, I was an entirely different person. I was an entirely different person than the guy just a couple minutes before who were laying in bed. And that's what it is. You change as a person. You are different. You're an actual different person, the guy who's laying in bed than the guy who's standing. And I'm sure there's some science behind it, but it probably has to do with the chemicals going through your body, your mind, what your actual brain is doing whenever you're half asleep and waking up. It probably has a massive impact on the thoughts you have, and your motivation, your willingness to do things. Then whenever you're up and moving and different chemicals are racing through your body and you've got dopamine, and I'm sure there's a scientific reality here that has something to do with it. So you have to battle that to get moving. And every single day is going to be a battle. There's never going to be a time when you have to stop battling yourself in the morning. It's never going to happen. Some days it'll be easy, some days it'll be hard. Some days you have no resistance, some days you have a ton of resistance. But how can you make the resistance less? By succeeding more, by just being really consistent, really disciplined, and continually doing it. That's how you can make the amount of resistance and obstacles you fight smaller and smaller and smaller. It's by not giving in. Had I given in this morning, tomorrow would be even harder. But I know, since I've hit the gym and hit my wake-up times for, today's Tuesday. So Monday and Tuesday, hit it both days. I know Wednesday's going to be a lot easier. Might have no resistance tomorrow. Might jump out of bed. Who knows? But I can't count on there being a different level of resistance every single day. And I can't count on me being a different person when I'm standing in the gym than when I'm laying in bed. In a different parts of the day, we make different goals. And we have different aspirations. I call it, you are your elite self when you're at the gym and you feel inspired. And you're like, man, what am I going to get done today? I could get anything done today. I feel like such a savage. And then there's the you when you're sleeping in and it's 5 a.m. and you're like, well, maybe I can sleep in for another 2 hours. That's a whole nother you. So I did my workout, had an awesome workout. I'm finally getting back to doing upper body. I had my shoulder surgery 6 weeks ago. And this recovery is going unbelievably well. A different surgeon, different recovery process. Not exactly the same surgery as my right shoulder, but very similar. And I'm already doing push-ups. I did 10 push-ups in a row this morning. And, just a couple weeks ago, I couldn't even, lift a couple pounds. I can lift my arm above my head with my right shoulder. It took months before I could do that. So recovery is going really, really well. And I'm grateful for the surgeon that I had. So I was at the gym, did a great upper body workout, and just felt really, really good. And I'm altering it because I'm doing high reps, low weight, instead of doing 5 reps, 10 reps, and doing heavy weight. So I'm being careful with my joints and ligaments to make sure that I'm not going to tear something. Because what they did is they basically clipped off my bicep tendon and then screwed it into my shoulder bone, lower on my shoulder. And the same thing is done to my right side. So right and left side are exactly the same. And then my clavicle up here on my shoulder, there was, on both my right and left side, they cut an inch off of my shoulder bone. So on both my right and left sides, there's like an inch of my clavicle not there because it was rubbing up against the other bone and causing a lot of inflammation and a lot of issues. So it's a standard procedure they do, but it's a pretty big procedure. And I was at my last appointment with the surgeon. It's like, yeah, it's still hurting. He's like, well, yeah, we basically took a chainsaw to your shoulder, and those were his words. He's like, we took a chainsaw to your shoulder and cut an inch of your bone off. Like, yeah, it's going to be painful for a little bit. And that was a couple weeks ago, but already feeling great and so happy that I can do push-ups. I'm even going to try jiu-jitsu tonight I'm just going to do technique. I'm not going to roll with anybody. I'll just do some basic technique and do what I can. This is my second surgery of the year. I had a knee surgery 4 or 5 months ago. I guess only 4 months ago. So major knee surgery 4 months ago. Major shoulder surgery 2 months ago. But I'm still showing up. Like, I'm still going to the gym. That is not my excuse for becoming fat and lazy and sloppy. Could easily. Most people could use that as an excuse. The old Chris could use that as an excuse. He did use that as an excuse. I need to be comfortable now because I'm going through pain. That's what it was. It was my shoulders hurting me, so I need to be comfy. I need to not go to the gym. I need to eat what I want, drink what I want. I need to make myself feel good because I'm feeling pain. And what does that do? That brings more pain. That brought more pain because I ballooned up in weight, felt like crap about myself, got depressed, hated what I looked like, hated what I felt like, didn't like what I was giving my wife. Like, I don't want to give my wife a fat ass. I don't want to be a fat ass to my wife. I don't want to have to turn the lights off every time we have sex because I'm ashamed of what I look like. I don't want my kids to run up and have Nathan like jiggle my belly because he thinks it's funny. It's embarrassing. I don't want to have a dad bod. But that's what it was becoming because of the excuses I gave myself. In our program, we did our weekly check-ins this morning, and I made a post about it on my Instagram account, is, a huge thing that we do is identifying the excuses that hold us back. So it's like, what are the excuses that you could give yourself this upcoming week? That's what one of the exercises we do every single week, is we say, what's going to happen this upcoming week where you might give yourself an excuse? So you might say something like, well, it's my buddy's birthday and we always go drinking, or we have an overnight thing, or it's an anniversary with my wife and we always get drunk, and whatever it is. It's a Super Bowl. So you have to identify the thing that's coming up that could sabotage you. And then you have to reflect on the past week, and you also have to say, well, did you give yourself any excuses this past week? And you have to write it down. And then we do that, and then you really get to, you do that every week for 12 months, you really get to know yourself. And then we also have daily reflections that we do. So really it's every single day for 12 months. It's just a constant fact-finding mission about yourself. And you're just finding out who you are as a person, what propels you, what holds you back. And when you do these things, you get to paint a picture of the weak you, like that version of you that's trying to hold you down. If you participate in this practice of self-diagnosing and identity hacking, as I call it, you begin to paint a really clear picture of this lazy, sloppy version of you that's always telling you to sleep in. And the more clearly you can paint that picture, the more accurately you know how to defeat him. If you know what he's going to say to you in advance, you can prepare for it. It's like the better you know your enemy, the more you can prepare for him. So that's why we do these exercises constantly. What do you do to sabotage yourself? What are the lies you tell yourself? What excuses do you give yourself? Do you say tomorrow is the day I do it? Do you say next week, next month, just this once? I deserve a cookie because I was good all day. Like, what are the things you tell yourself continually that always hold you stuck, that have kept you stuck for a decade, that could keep you stuck and live and have you die with a regretful life? That's how important it is. It's these little lines, the story we have about ourselves, that we tell ourselves every single day that we are living up to. What is that thing? Is it positive, negative? Is it demanding the most of us, or is it giving ourselves excuses? The story we have about ourselves, who we believe we are, is that challenging us to become our best self, or is it allowing us to take a break today? And you do that, you take the break, you sleep in, you miss the gym, and then you feel like crap, always. And then you push those bad feelings down, usually by eating something, or by looking at your phone and distracting yourself, forgetting about it. You think, dang it, I slept in again, I missed the gym, and then you pull up your cell phone, you look at YouTube for 30 minutes, and you forget about it. But had I slept in till 7 a.m., I would have felt like such a piece of crap. Because I had such a great workout, finally. A great upper body workout, first time in months, and I love that feeling. Like I love my arms, I love building my arms, and I love, getting shoulder muscles and chest muscles and back. Like I just love, it feels great to love how you look, and it feels great to be strong. It feels good to hear your son say, Dad, Nathan the other day, he was like, Dad, you should post a pic, just randomly, crazy kid thing. He's like, Dad, you should post a video of you rolling around in the snow because you're so ripped. Like, I'm not going to do that. It's a weird thing to say, but my 11-year-old son said that to me. It's awesome to hear them say that instead of, I remember years ago him like shaking my stomach when I was in like a fat phase. It's a very different feeling. So it feels great to love how you look. It feels great to be strong. It feels great to know your wife is attracted to you. It feels great to know your kids think you're a ripped warrior. Those things feel amazing. Why would you not do that? Go for that. Had I slept in, I'd be giving all that up. That would be the fat, lazy, sloppy Chris saying to that guy, the guy who's on fire, the guy who's ripped, the guy who's working out in the morning, that fat, lazy, sloppy Chris would be telling that guy, nah, your priorities are off. You should get more sleep. That's the smart thing to do. Don't be one of those people who wake up early and go to the gym. You know, one of those people who wake up early and go to the gym, they're freaking savages. They're on fire. I go to the gym in the morning. I get there like 5:15, 5:30. There's people leaving. They've been done. That's like when I was first building this business as a full-time teacher and doing an ad agency. I was waking up at 3:45, and that was me leaving at 5 a.m. because I had to get back because my kids were too young by the time my wife left. I was getting like 5 hours of sleep a day for about a year. Every single day. That's all I did when I was building this business. Like, I will quit this job. I will leave. I don't care. Nothing else matters to me than becoming my best. I know my business will rise to the person I am and building this. So I don't care about anything but what I'm doing right now. So I got shredded, got ripped, built a business, quit my job all in like 5 hours of sleep a day for a year. And thank God I did. I get a little more sleep now. I get like 6.5, 7 hours of sleep a day, but I wake up at like 4:45, 5 o'clock. So I get to the gym around 5:15, 5:30. And you get there, and there's all these other people working out and just pushing themselves hard, and it's just an awesome environment to be in. You feel great when you're there. And then you think about, like, who's this fat, sloppy asshole telling me to lay in bed? That's like when I post those fat pictures of me. It's that guy. It's like, oh, the guy who's like, what are you doing? You're not going to drink tonight? Whenever you first decide to actually start taking care of yourself and not be a slob, one of the things many people do is they're like, I'm not going to drink anymore. Like, oh, because drinking makes my face look like a blowfish, and I always eat double the amount I should, and I don't like the person I am when I drink. I don't like how I talk to my wife. I don't like how I'm unpresent. I don't like how I look, smell, sleep in. My ambition goes down. Because of all those reasons, I'm going to stop drinking. Valid reasons. And then you'll do that for a week. You'll go to a party with a bunch of other guys who think like that, who aren't inspired to change. And one of them will say, well, what are you doing? Why aren't you drinking? Well, no, they'll start ragging you about it. That guy is the inner person that you have to battle. He's the fat slob who wants you to keep on sleeping in and not be your best self. For me, my perspective is that guy is always inside of me. Every single morning, I need to tell that guy to F off. So I expect tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, I'm going to have to confront that guy. And I'm going to have a decision to make. My soul is going to have a decision to make. Who do I want to be? Do I want to be the disciplined, ripped Chris, or do I want to be the undisciplined, sloppy, fat Chris? And I will have that decision to make tomorrow morning. It just all depends on whether I get out of bed or not. And the amount of time it takes for you to switch people is so small. Laying in bed, convincing yourself you should stay there, to the guy that's up, All you have to do is get up. As soon as the weight hits your feet, you change. You're like, I did it. Battle won. And then you feel strong. That is your very first battle of the day. And you know people say that. I'm not the first one to say that. My God, everyone says that. Everyone that you look up to says that, right? And that's the way. That's one of the reasons why I started doing it. I wasn't the first one to discover this. How long has Jocko been saying that? How long has David Goggins been saying that? Lots of people say that. There's plenty of Instagram influencers who are ripped and successful and living great lives that also say that. So at some point, it's like you either convince yourself that, they're all full of shit. I know what I'm doing. And then you look at yourself and you're like, well, do I? Or you say, maybe they've got something figured out. And maybe I can drop my ego and allow another point of view into my life to help lift me up. Some people never get to that point, and it's sad. But I love that I get to work every single day with a group of people who have gotten to that point. And they say, yes, show me a path. I'm going all in. I love weekly check-in day. I love it. I get to go through every single guy and personally respond to them and get back. And it just the changes that are possible when you're in this environment, and every single day you focus on being the best man, husband, father you can be, are unbelievable. You can't believe it. Guys, just today, guys say my marriage is the best it's ever been. A marriage that was on the brink of divorce. Another guy, he said, I'm down in 1 week, I'm down 3 pounds. I took my wife on a dream date, which was where they took on a date and they described their dreams to each other. And he said, my relationship with my son is the best it's ever been. We have a special relationship right now. He wants to do everything with me in 1 week. Like, okay, so in yourself, your physicality, your marriage, and your parenting, it's the best it's ever been right now. And then you got to say, here's the important part. Why is that happening? It's not random. It's not because of external things. It is all because you decided to change. That is it. It's because you changed. You are the one thing that affects everything. It's like the sun. Imagine if the sun went out. All life on earth would die. You are the sun to your family. If you crumble, get fat, sloppy, undisciplined, lazy, say, I can't go to the gym because I spend so much time with my kids, or whatever excuse you give yourself. If you crumble and die out, all life in your family will die too. You need to become your best to save the family. You need to shine bright. We call it the lighthouse. You need to be immovable. You need to be warm. Shine. Light the way to your family. You may be in a position where you have to save your family. Here's what I mean. Maybe your wife is going through a really hard time and things aren't 50-50. And she's depressed, toxic, miserable, not taking care of herself. Maybe. Maybe your kids are struggling right now because the mother's like that, or because you used to be like that. So now the only thing that can save your family and provide some structure is you getting on your shit. It's you getting some structure in your life. It's you getting disciplined. It's you becoming the most in shape you've ever been, the most disciplined you've ever been, the most wise you've ever been, the most emotionally in control you've ever been. If you do not do that, the whole family has zero reliability, zero structure, no rock to lean on. What if that's the case? Is there any structure in your family? Is anyone providing stability? When they think of dad, they think, yeah, dad follows through. Dad shows up no matter what. Dad's unshakable. Does your kid think even when I'm an asshole, even whenever I insult dad or I'm having a bad day, even whenever I throw a tantrum, I just can't get dad to flake. Like, I just can't get dad off his game. He's just immovable. And because of that, I feel so safe and secure. Knowing that he loves me more than my faults. My dad loves me more than my flaws. My dad loves me more than my childish emotions. and he allows me to make mistakes, fail, and grow as a child. Is that what your children think? Or is it, I'm afraid to be me, I'm afraid to make mistakes and fail because my dad will crush me? In reality, because he has no control of himself. What are you providing your family? Are you the safe harbor, or are you the storm? That's what's at stake with how you live your life, how you are. You must be the lighthouse for them. You must be the safe harbor. You might be the only source of stability for your children. If you allow yourself to crumble, the entire house is going to crumble. It will not always be like that, but maybe it's like that right now. Maybe you're going to go through a really hard phase one day, and you're going to need your wife to show up for you. I was that for my wife. She was that for me, all at different phases. Right now, we're that for each other. We both went through hard times in terms of taking care of ourselves and who we are. Now we're just both on the same page and running. But if your wife is not like that, or your husband is not like that, maybe you need to make sure you are the thing holding your family together. Are you willing to do that? Or are you going to let that little weak bitch inside of you keep you in bed? This is how you must talk to yourself. You want motivated? Listen to this podcast again. And if you think like this every day, if you are intentional about it every single day, then you can be that source for other people. You can be that inspiring, motivating, rock-solid lighthouse for everyone in your life. But you must change. It's all you.